What's up, guys? We actually just got done cleaning the race quad. You can see she's naked. All the plastics are there. She's over here looking pretty naked. Just gonna do some race prep on her. Not today, but pretty soon once we get done with the project we have today. Another garage video for you guys. Finally, we can start working on this project Yamaha. If you guys saw the first video, I'm doing some work to this quad for a friend. So we got the last of our parts in a few days ago. So just give a huge shout out to Jimmy Bortz at YFZ450R Racing. We got our custom cut harness. He provided us with the vortex cage. This thing is sweet. Our tether switch and our custom start button. Everything's plug and play, like you can see. So this is a super easy setup. Eliminated lots of the junk. Look how tiny this thing is, guys. Friggin' unbelievable. Look at this thing. So Albert, that's his quad, he decided that he wanted to do a capacitor. A lot of the guys run the capacitors. What happens is if you actually have an issue with your battery, your main battery, and it dies, the capacitor will keep the quad running. I guess it's pretty popular for the motocross guys, but I've never ran one. He always asks me every year. I've never had a battery issue, so it's just one thing I'd rather not worry about. But maybe next year, if we do get a new harness, we'll try that out. But we're gonna do the harness today. We'll start with that. We're probably gonna do a few videos just to keep them short, but we also did get our throttle body back from B&R. So huge shout out to him. He bored this throttle body. He serviced it and cleaned it so it looks shiny new. Jimmy Bortz also provided a manual idle speed control. We're gonna pop that in there, get rid of that guy. But like I said, that's what we're gonna do today. Work on the harness, get the harness in, and then we will focus on putting in the rest of the stuff to get this thing running. We do have a bunch of other stuff that we're gonna do. You can see down here, we do have a 38 Motorsports breather box in there. We got some new levers. We got a clutch kit. We got a new air filter. We have also from B&R the Raccoon Racing intake and air box. That's a sweet setup. And then he has a new Yoshi exhaust. I think I showed you guys that stuff before, but enough yapping. Let's get to work. All right, guys, so this isn't too bad. What I like to do with the harness is I like to work it basically from the middle point. And what I'll do is I'll even plug in some of this stuff just so it kind of gives me a reference. Kind of I'll work the main plug for the ECU right through the subframe towards the back of the quad, and then we will just work that in after. This is a good place to kind of start because you have the sensor for the throttle body, and then obviously once we have the throttle body in place, we'll have the throttle body. So we have the injector plug, we have the plugs for the coil. That's kind of like the one I like to start with, is the coil wires. You can see, hopefully you can see that's like that. So this guy is for that. So that's gonna be my starting point. And then what I'll do is I'll zip tie this. Once I get this where I like it, I will zip tie it. I might just wait 1 second, a few seconds I should say, while I just work the front section of the harness over the radiator. So with the cut harness, you do not have to undo the radiator, which is kind of nice. With a stock harness, you definitely have to unscrew it because it'll be in the way. It's that all the harness is so thick that you have to do it. Alright, so this basically is right there. So then this stuff can go through. You just send it through that. It's kind of like a triangular hole through the frame, through the front. Work it towards where the rectifier is, and then we do have this zip tie that's on the frame factory. We'll get that one. I'm not going to tighten it. I'm just going to get it in place just so this doesn't move. So this stuff looks pretty good as far as length. the fan plug and the temp sensor. This might have to go back like that. Alright. So I'm going to say that's pretty good. So I'm going to now zip tie this area in the middle. He used to actually put this clip in the, I could actually still do it if I cut this one. Cut this. He has a zip tie right here. I'm going to cut that because I have a new one going over all this. No need to have a zip tie on top of the zip tie. Alright, so we got these little, the factory little clip that is in the factory harness. I cut it out of that one. I kept it in here so I could strap this to it. So I'm just going to keep these kind of loose. Actually no, I'm going to send it because that looks good. So we'll do this first one. Try to get it tight. And the second one. Now this thing, it's not super stiff, but like around where the front section where it bends around the frame, I did actually mold it. It's actually got a good bend in it, so I think that'll be all right. So what I also do is I like to put a zip tie just for the fuel pump. So I like to put a zip tie under this electronics tray and then over the harness right here just to hold it down. Sorry for the noisy lift. The edges are like loose. So, alright, so what I also like to do is I also like to put dielectric grease in all the connections on here. It's just going to help keep mud and water out and prevent corrosion. So we'll start with just a little dab. I'm actually going to clean. I'm going to clean his coil plugs because they're just a little nasty looking. So we'll kind of give those a, just try to wire brush them. Clean them up so we get a good connection. I will say, Albert, if you are watching this video, there's a lot of dirt in this quad. It needs another good cleaning. I will say that. Alright. So we just pop a little grease in these two clips. Don't have to go too crazy, just enough. We can plug them in. So just keep in mind that one terminal is larger than the other, so make sure you get those right. Alright, so those are in. Nice tight fit. I also like to put a couple zip ties around that coil wire, just so there's no way it can come undone. It is clipped in here pretty good, but the stock wire is a little thicker and this one is a little thinner. So just for added protection, just to keep this thing in place so it doesn't get caught on anything or damaged, I just like to pop a zip tie, one there, and then one right here. This way we know it can never come out. Alright, we can connect the air pressure sensor that goes in the throttle body. I think that's what it's called. Oh, I need to see where is the... Hold on now. I'm missing, where is it? The air temp sensor. Oh, that's that guy right there. Alright, so that's that one. That one's going to stay up. These can all go down. Now I will go over. It looks like Albert got rid of the neutral light, so that's not in this harness. So we don't have to worry about plugging that in. I'll just kind of keep that in place and zip tie it nice and neatly. So we basically just have our two wires for the coil and the stator, and then we have our plug for the TPS. So he eliminated that. So Jimmy Bortz can customize these things however you guys like them. So basically, me personally, I do keep the neutral light and the dash lights. It's just something I like. I do keep the fan relay. So I don't know, it looks like Al got rid of that. I don't see a fan relay, so it looks like his fan is going to be hot all the time. I like to have the fan work just like the factory. I've never really had a problem running the oversized fan, so I just keep that as is. But I do eliminate the fuel pump relay, and it looks like Albert did the same thing. The same thing as well, no fuel pump relay, so it just keeps it simple. Trying to work this thing. Might have to pull the harness back just a touch. This goes on the ground. It looks like it's a little short, so I might have to pull this back. All right, so let me work the front, and then I can take whatever slack I don't need and run it to the back. So here's our temp sensor. Let me just put a little grease in that. Put a little more. Temp sensor gets plugged in like so. Might have to undo that, and then we have our fan wire. Now I will go and zip tie these. I'll do it after. I'm not going to do it just yet. Just until I get the harness exactly where I want it. Alright, I'm going to undo that just so I might pull that. Kind of looks like where he has this shrink wrap is where you want that zip tie. So not a big deal. Alright, so we'll work the front. So we have, obviously we have a oh no, he does have the fan relay. Alright, so he's got his fan relay, so we can pop that in, let that hang. Didn't notice that before, but that's good. I like to keep the fan relay, like I said, especially for woods racing. On starts, dead engine starts, you know, when you got the key on, the fan will be running. I know it won't. It's not going to kill the battery right away, but it's definitely going to affect your faster starts. Alright, so we got the dash plug. So we kept, with the exception of the neutral wire, he's got all his dash lights. Some guys get rid of all that. Moto guys, more so the moto guys, but I like to keep the dash lights. I like having the low fuel light and obviously the engine code light. That's important to have, so I keep all that stuff. But you can eliminate it if you really want to make this thing bare bones. Alright, we have our rectifier plug. Got some stuff in there. So one of these will be for One of these will be for the key, not the key, yeah, so this one's for the key, this guy, and then we'll have one for the start button and one for the tether, and I believe the last one left over is for the capacitor. So I'll probably just have to zip tie that under here somewhere. These are gonna go, these I'll just leave. So it looks like we have another ground that's gonna get terminated up front. All right, so that's the capacitor. So I'm gonna plug that in now, and then see where we can. Too bad that didn't fit like that. That would be sweet. We will have to just zip tie this. We'll neaten everything up after. But it's nice just to get everything in place. So we'll let that hang. We're gonna have to terminate this ground. We can do that after. But let's see how much slack I can pull towards the back, because this ground clamp needs to hit the battery. So I'm gonna have to cut these. Just work it back. It doesn't need much, only an inch or two, so that's not bad. Like I said, I think he had this design, so this kind of goes like that. I can only bring this so far. It's like, it's very tight, but I think I can make it work. These are going to go through this. Right there. And then this guy will go into the intake. So actually it looks pretty good. That will work. So what you can do is you can, I just cut this off, the old little plug that used to plug into the stock ground plug on the stock harness. You can just cut that off. You can put some tape over it if you want, which we will do. I'm going to unscrew the battery terminal here, and then I can get at that cable a little easier. Put a little tape around here, just to be safe. And then we can connect that wire from the harness. So hopefully, obviously this is going to be 2 or 3 afternoons in here. But I'm hoping that we can get this thing fired up. We don't have much. Obviously the harness is pretty important. Can't fire this thing up without that. But once we get that done, then we can focus on the throttle body and the air box and then the exhaust, and then she's good to go. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so this looks good. I like that. So this is for the injector. That's for the fuel pump. Alright, so we'll do a new zip tie. Actually, I'm not even gonna put a zip tie in here. I have one here, and that's holding it pretty good. The wire for the vortex looks perfect, so we can do that just like that. We got these other 2 wires that have to go in here. The starter wire, and the engine ground. His speed sensor, we'll have to do that. That's gone. That actually can just cut. I don't know if there's a block off for it. He might have. We just cut that for now. That might be with the 38 MOTORSPORTS stuff, so I'll have to just check and pop that in after if that's the case. Trying to stay hydrated, guys. It's like 91 here. Summer has finally arrived. We've had a crap ton of rain, but it was really hot today. I friggin' sweated my butt off at work all day. I'm feeling it, definitely feeling it. Gotta hydrate. All right, so now we'll work on, we can get this clip back in on the front because that's gonna stay right there. Right, yeah, that's pretty good right there. Yep, that's perfect right there. So we'll pop that guy back in. Where the hell's the hole? That. I will put a couple zip ties on the fan wire and the thermostat wire. Make those neat. Zip ties. Also, we did get the last couple things I need for my practice quad, so that will be, once this quad's done, we're gonna kind of get focused back on that thing, which would be nice. I don't have much to do on that. I got the graphics in, those actually came today. And then I got a new set of tires in, and I'm just waiting for tire bolts. So then I can do my rims, my tires. I got some new rings. I got some new mud plugs. I want to say that is it for the practice quad. I did get a couple other parts that I'm excited to show you guys. I'm not going to say what they are just yet, but something that I've done years ago that I stopped doing that a friend of mine is making. So I'm going to give him a little shout out if you guys I know you guys will like these things what I have for you. Alright, so I gotta ground this thing. I'm gonna ground it to this because we have the 38 Motorsports breather box going on up top, so I'd rather not put anything there that's gonna mess with that. Just put this here and that's it. I will have to ask Jimmy what's up with the second ground up front. So it might have been something new he's doing. I know he's always redesigning these things to make them better and you know, keep up with what people want to do and all that. So he's actually saying that he wants to try to make a harness where everything goes up front, like the ECU and stuff, or something in the battery box. But he's got some new stuff in the works. I'll keep you guys in the loop on that stuff. So I am going to put one zip tie right over here. This is a little loose. I don't want it flopping around. One will be fine just to hold it in place. Like that. That's beautiful. The lift is so annoying. Alright, so then we just got to plug in our, jack this thing up a little bit. Just the coil wire, stator wire, and plug those in. And we can zip tie those. So these guys are right here. 1, 2, 3. Put some grease in all these. Put the TPS. try to get all of them right now, and then we can be done with this. Solenoid plug. And then the ECU connector. Alright, so we got dielectric grease in every connector. We get these two plugged in. It's actually kind of nice without the throttle body in over here. It's easy to work. Alright, so the ground wire, I'm just going to kind of roll it up, not roll it up, just kind of like bend it together a couple times and then zip tie it right to these wires. It does have a wire clamp right here to hold it, so we can just go like that. Which I don't like how, there's a wire holder that goes over the clutch perch, and he took that out, so these wires are like right on top of the clutch perch lever, so it's gonna rub on them. I'm not really digging that unless I can push them back and zip tie them around. Gotta do something with that though, because it's not good like that. Zip these together. Be alright. I will give you guys a close-up view of everything once I'm done as well. Get the camera down from the aerial view. Hopefully it looks good. I don't know, we'll see how it looks. Alright, so we got our TPS wire. We're gonna put the throttle body into that, so we're not gonna do that just yet. We have our air inlet temp sensor. I just want to zip tie all these together and make them nice and neat. Let's cut on. Alright, we will do the vortex mount and stuff in this video. I'll show you guys that. Alright guys, so what you will do is you will take the old ECU adapter or bracket off, but you will need the hardware from it. So you do need to take the rubber grommets off and then the sleeves, and you need to put those in this new bracket. I just use needle nose pliers to do it. I didn't bother showing it just because it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. So the other one you can throw out. So this vortex cage, it's the newer one from Chris Borning. It's a DBR now, the new name of the company. So it's got all these little rubber grommets that you stick in here to keep this thing solid. So, alright, so then this just slides in. Yeah, this thing is really tight. Yeah, this thing's not even moving. So I'm not even going to use the grommets. It's so tight, it's not even moving. So Maybe these are optional, I'm not sure. I'm just not going to use them because that thing is super, super tight. Alright, so then we got all the nuts and bolts and the screws. This thing is going to mount like that. I'm just going to confirm on the quad I have it in the right spot because there is 2 locations on this bracket that this can go. It looks like the closer one to the left is the one we want. So then it's a matter of just sticking these little Allen head bolts through the washer. Alright, so we get that, and then that's going to go on that. We have 11/32" nut, and then we have a 9/64 Allen. So we'll just tighten these up, and then we can mount this guy on the quad. Sweet setup. I'm going to show you, like, this thing, it's not even moving at all, so that's why I didn't use the grommets. But let's get this thing on the quad. This is just the 2 10mm bolts that held the stock bracket on. Just going to reuse those, like I said, in all the hardware, and it looks pretty good. Now we can plug in our main harness to the ECU, to the Vortex programmer. That looks really good. I'm just going to zip tie these. I'm going to zip tie the 2 little pigtails just on the side of the Vortex so they're not getting hit by anything. It'll be a little neater. I really like this cage. Just like that. That's the way to go. That's a nice thing with Jimmy Bortz. He does stock a lot of this stuff, so he can get you the complete setup. So he can get you the harness, he can get you any additional parts you need, like the capacitor, the cages. He's actually he's doing it full time now, so he should be able to crank out a lot more work, which is nice. Alright, that looks better. Alright, now this guy is just going to go down and get that under the brown wire. It just goes down like that. I'll put a zip tie on that so that doesn't interfere with anything. These new switches he's been using the last couple of years are awesome. Have not had one wear out yet. No issues at all. They've always been solid. Alright, let's see how this works. If he wants to, I will double check with the spacing. Oh no, this isn't gonna work. Only two screws will reach. That's it. I guess that's okay. I guess that's alright. That's not really a lot to hold, but I will just check with him. And once I get that clutch lever on, I can see if we have enough room to put it on the bars. But for now, just so we can get this done, we'll tighten this up. There we go. Alright, so now we can just plug these in and we'll get some zip ties to make everything nice and neat. So the start wire, I just run it right down. I got lots of YFZs to check so I can make sure I do everything kind of the same way. I did forget to get these real quick. Some dielectric grease. He definitely makes this harness foolproof, as you can't mix up any of these plugs. There's like no double connectors or anything, so the start button can only go in one spot, and same goes for the tether, which is nice, so no worries on that. So I think we're going to sneak this down. Oh no, let's go. Oh yeah, that's on that side. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. I'll send him a picture and see what he says. If he wants me to, if we have the room, I'll move it. But it might be tight. It could be tight. That other clutch lever. Alright, so I like to get one zip tie right here on the start wire. Just kind of like that. And then we'll get these two. I guess I could put it on the clutch cable. Tie it off to the clutch cable. What I like to do is just make sure I can turn it, nothing's pinched. Well, that's pretty good. I gotta remember, we gotta do that 38 Motorsports breather box. So I need to make sure I don't block anything in this front end for those hoses, because those hoses have to come with 2 feed right towards the engine, but then there's one for the vent that comes out. So this thing, so I'm not gonna zip tie this yet until I'm done with the 38 Motorsports breather box. So, but I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna try to see if I can put that thing like right against the frame, or maybe like that. I think that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I'll show you guys it all. And I'm gonna probably put a couple more zip ties. That's pretty good. Yeah, so we got the capacitor right here. I think we're just gonna maybe zip tie it onto that headlight bracket like that. That looks pretty good. Got all the connections done. Right there, you can see it comes through there. And then it goes inside the frame rail, just like that. We got our injector wire, that'll go down there. Fuel pump wire, that'll go up there. And then we have the air inlet temp sensor plug, that's right here. That'll go on top of the air box once that's in. So you can see it all nice and neat. Onto the coil. And the wires for the crank sensor and stator are right there. And they follow down towards the back of the quad inside the subframe like that. This thing is like, I might have to put, I'm going to put another zip tie on these wires right here so those stay nice and tight. And then you have the last connection on the solenoid, battery, and then the Vortex ECU. So definitely a sweet setup. I'll show you guys quickly the stock harness, how giant it is. So that's the stock harness, giant, friggin' almost 3 times the thickness with so many more wires. Half of them don't even get used. Well, that's one step closer to getting this thing done. Oh, we'll show you the start button right there. Looks pretty good. And then our tether on top. So we might move that to here. We'll see once we get the new lever on what we have in the room. Well, that's a wrap for this one, guys. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. That helps me a lot. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. If you guys want a custom cut harness, custom built harness, because he doesn't cut them anymore. He builds these from scratch, guys, all right? Wired Out Racing. I will leave all his info in the description. He builds these from scratch, all right? So he can customize them however you want. So check him out. He's awesome, good dude. Make sure you let him know I sent you. As always, thanks for watching. If you're not yet, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, all right? Peace.